Premier is here. Premier Heating and Air service calls are now only $69. Your first pound of Freon is free. And if you need a new replacement system, Premier Heating and Air is now offering 60 months financing at 0% on all new AC systems. Premier also offers great second chance financing. Log on to dublin.premierishere.com and let's get things cooled down today. Premier Heating and Air, a locally owned and operated company with approved credit. Offer expires 8/31/2024.
Welcome to our Fairview Park Physicians Reception. This is where we get to celebrate our new doctors that have come to Fairview Park Hospital here. And I have Dr. Eric Chung with me. Dr. Chung, welcome to Dublin, Georgia. Tell us a little bit about you.
So I've actually been here about a year now, and I came from Jacksonville, Florida, and I trained in New York and California, and I wanted to come closer to home, and so I ended up being in Dublin for about a year now.
Okay, and what type of services are you going to be performing for us over at Fairview Park?
Sure. So not only do I do general surgery and trauma that we need in the community, I also do medical and surgical weight loss, and I do a lot of robotic surgery, fixing hernias and doing GERD workup and stuff like that.
So I can tell with your accent's a little bit different from mine, so you're not from this area. Why Fairview Park? What made you choose Fairview Park?
So at the time when I was trying to figure out where I would be best needed, instead of being another 8th or 10th surgeon in a big city, I wanted to be in a place where I can make the biggest impact and provide world-class care for the patients. So I decided to come to Dublin because I think rural communities need good surgeons too.
I sure hope some of our younger folks are hearing that. I tell folks that all the time, that come to a smaller community and be the best that we have. So we are certainly blessed to have you. It's great to meet you, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you so much.
All right, I have Dr. Kackelman with me now, and Dr. Kackelman is, again, one of our new physicians at Fairview Park Hospital. So welcome, and thank you for choosing Fairview Park in Dublin, Georgia. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 35 years old. I grew up in north central Alabama, just about 20 miles north of Huntsville, Alabama, right on the Tennessee state line. So I grew up in a really small cotton farming community and really wanted to come back to a small town. Met a lot of people in Dublin and just fell in love with this area.
Okay, I heard I think Alabama, Tennessee together in there, and this is big Georgia Bulldog. So who are you rooting for?
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yeah. So my mom actually grew up in a small tobacco farming community in Kentucky, raised me to be the oddball in Alabama, loving basketball and the Kentucky Wildcats.
So you'll be welcomed here and loved here. Nobody here is an adversary to Kentucky. Tell us a little bit about your practice.
So I am a family practice physician, work over at the medical center. We do basically anything from about 2 years old all the way up to death. So we handle everything in between.
Okay, and Dublin, Georgia. When you came here, you and your wife, what made you decide that Dublin was going to be home for you?
So, we really wanted a smaller town, smaller pace. We were living in central Florida at the time, and we're really looking for different areas. Found the opportunity here, and came here, visited with people, and everything just seemed to fit. Our family, our kids loved it, everything. So it just all seemed to just fall right in place.
Fantastic. Tell me a little bit about those kids.
Yeah, so I've got 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son, 18-year-old daughter, a 6-year-old daughter, and a 1.5-year-old son now. So.
Fantastic. I can't tell you how glad we are to have you here. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to welcome Dr. Wynn to our show today. Dr. Wynn, we're welcoming our new physicians here, and certainly want to say welcome and thank you for you being here in Dublin and Lawrence County, a part of our medical team. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Biloxi, Mississippi on the Gulf Coast, and practiced in Mississippi for a couple of years before I moved to Dublin. But I've always liked small towns and always liked the South. And so I decided to travel here and take a chance in Dublin and see how it worked out. And so far, I'm really enjoying it.
Fantastic. I've been to Mississippi a few times. I've actually been to Biloxi. We won't talk about that on this show. That's for something else. But again, welcome. So tell us a little bit about family practice.
Yes, sir. So yeah, I practice at the Dublin Medical Center, family practice. We do urgent care, and we also have patients that we have long-term relationships with as well.
Okay, and you mentioned coming from Biloxi. What I'm sure there's a lot of places you could have gone to. What made you decide to come here to Dublin, Georgia?
So I actually looked, and I was found a place here in Dublin that offered a way to practice that kind of aligned with the way I was thinking to practice, and so I took an opportunity to apply, and it's working out well.
Fantastic. So being new here, I'd just like to ask our new physicians anything. We got a lot of folks that watch the show, and of course they want to know who the physicians are in case they need care. Anything interesting that folks might want to know about you? Any sports or hobbies or animals or anything like that important to you?
Yeah, so I like the outdoors. I love hiking. I'm a big exercise person, so you can see me at the gym pretty much almost all the time. And so love basketball, love soccer, love football, American football. And so you can see me at pretty much any of the games in town as well. But I love sports, outdoors, hiking, pretty much anything you can do outside, I'm all for it.
We are glad to have you here, and we look forward to seeing you at some of the local football games.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to welcome Dr. Hawkins to our show. Dr. Hawkins, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I have moved here recently within the past year from Lexington, North Carolina, where I lived for 21 years. I was in practice in ophthalmology there for 21 years at Davidson Eye Associates. Before that, I was in the Air Force. I was a major in the Air Force for 3 years. And I did my ophthalmology training at Dean McGee Eye Institute, which is a prestigious eye institute in Oklahoma City. And I went to medical school, working back in time. Went to medical school at Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston. Originally, I'm from Greenville, Spartanburg area of South Carolina. I lived in Florence for a while, lived in other places, Wilmington, North Carolina for a while. So I'm kind of a Carolina boy.
I was going to ask you.
Make me a bulldog, but I don't know. I don't know. You know, my dad went to Clemson. I went to Furman for college.
Okay.
So 2 South Carolina schools. So still a lot of sandlapper in me, rather than bulldog right now. But we'll see.
So I don't have to tell you, you know already, sports is a big thing here, and bulldogs are important to a lot of people, but not everybody. But so tell me a little bit, you mentioned ophthalmology there, so that, of course, that's what you'll be doing here. What made you choose Dublin of all the places maybe that you could have gone to?
Yeah, good question. Because I was in practice for 21 years and had a booming practice in Lexington, and really I met Clark and John Williams, Dr. Williams, and Clark Daly, who's our office manager at Dublin Eye. I met those guys and started talking to them, and we hit it off. And one thing led to another, and I felt like the Lord was really calling me and leading me to Dublin to join these guys at Dublin Eye. So that's really, in a nutshell, what happened is those guys really kind of recruited me and brought me here.
We were doing so good until you said Dr. Clark. No, I'm just kidding. I love Dr. Clark. We play a lot of golf together. So glad to have you. I'm one of your customers. I go to Dublin Eye as well, and we're so glad to have you here, and we need you here. So we're especially glad that you're here. One more just really quick question would be just something interesting maybe that just to let folks know a little bit about you. Do you have a favorite hobby or sport or animals or anything like that?
Well, no, I'm a pretty boring guy overall. I work all the time and do surgery all the time. But yeah, I live right over on the 18th hole here, and so I'm a big golfer. So I have 8 children, 4 of which are at home, 4 are out of the home now, and so they're big golfers. A lot of them are big golfers as well.
Awesome.
My oldest daughter is a concert pianist. She's a professor in piano. And then I've got, like I say, a bunch of other children that are great golfers. I had one that golfed in the SEC at Tennessee, not at Georgia, but
that's okay.
Hopefully people won't hold that against me.
It's SEC. That's okay.
It's the South. So tennis, a big tennis player, played tennis in high school. So
So lots of sports for you.
I'm a sports
okay.
guy, yeah.
Fantastic.
Golf and
Hey,
tennis.
we are so happy to have you here. I'm going to let you get in there to that reception, but again, welcome to Dublin, Lawrence County.
So I work with clients of all ages. I have people my age who are just getting married and having kids, and they want to get a policy on them or a whole life policy on their toddler to have as they age. But I also see clients that are older that are maybe looking for a final expense policy. I get to see clients at many different seasons of their lives. I just love Dublin. This has always been home for me. My dad and my granddad do what they love, and it's a blessing to join them in it.
MedFirst is committed to service and quality care. Located on Hillcrest Parkway near Fairview Park Hospital, we're built on the philosophy of continually providing new and effective services to meet the healthcare needs of the communities we serve. We have a complete inventory of all the latest in-home medical equipment and appliances. Also, the latest technology in seat lift chairs is displayed in one of the largest medical showrooms anywhere. MedFirst has become a leader in sleep therapy services in the Middle Georgia area, as well as home respiratory services. Roger Folsom and the team at MedFirst look forward to taking care of all your home medical needs. So call us today at 478-274-1900 or come by and see us at 1204 Hillcrest Parkway.
I want to welcome to for me this a familiar face, but I know you are still a new physician here, and we're celebrating new physicians tonight. But Dr. Michael Apiadu, so glad to see you again tonight. Welcome again to Dublin and Lawrence County. Tell us a little bit for the folks that may not have had an opportunity to meet you yet. Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. I grew up mainly in Johns Creek, Georgia. I attended Dartmouth College for college, and I came down to Emory University School of Medicine for medical school. After that, I did my residency in physical medicine and rehabilitation at the University of Miami, and I returned back to Emory for fellowship in interventional pain management. So that's what I practice now as my subspecialty. It's been great so far here in Dublin.
So, Dr. Apiadu, you obviously you could have chosen pretty much anywhere you wanted to go practice medicine. Tell me why you chose Dublin, Georgia.
Well, when I came here, especially at Fairview, I saw how friendly everyone was. I saw how accommodating everyone was, and it just seemed like more like a family than a place just to work. And I really like the community. It takes me away from the hustle and bustle of Atlanta, so I've been really enjoying it so far.
Fantastic, and I don't know that I've had an opportunity to ask you this. I know your pain management and things, but I hadn't asked you, do you have a favorite sport, or do you have a hobby or a particular animal that you're kind of drawn to? Tell me a little bit, tell our viewers something maybe that they don't know about you.
Yeah, sure. I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan, so I like attending those games in Atlanta. I'm also a big soccer or football fan as well. My family's originally from Ghana, so I support the Ghana national team. I love the World Cup. I love the Olympics. I recently just got into pickleball as well, so I'm starting to play that here in Dublin. It's been really fun.
Fantastic. I think pickleball is actually bolstering our medical community quite a bit in some of the work that's being done. But hey, welcome again, and thank you so much. I want to welcome Dr. Zellickson to the show. And Dr. Zellickson, tell me how long you've been here, and then just start out. Tell me a little bit about you.
So I've been coming down to Dublin for almost 2 years now. I started December of 2022. I guess my background, I'm from Alabama, went to University of Alabama, then UAB for medical school, University of Virginia for residency fellowship. And I've been out in practice now for just over 4 years, and about half of it has been down here. Originally started coming down basically because there was a need in the community, and I was able to kind of fill a gap. And it was originally just kind of on a part-term basis. Loved it down here, loved the group of people I was working with, loved the hospital, the administration, former Dr. Harrison, who I worked with a good bit when I was first kind of signed on down here, and now Dr. Garg, who's amazing. So I just kind of loved everybody and kind of converted it into my full-time gig after just a couple months, really. and it's been great. Community's great. The hospital's nice. It's kind of a nice bridge between a tiny rural medical center that has minimal bits and pieces here and there versus an academic center that has everything. This is kind of a nice hybrid, meet in the middle, where there's lots of colleagues obviously that are here already tonight. Again, not necessarily a tertiary care center with all the bells and whistles and everything you could possibly want and need right here in this community, but we have enough to keep the community moving, keep most patients here in town and that sort of thing. So it's been great.
You just did so awesome. You made my job easy. You answered 2 or 3 of the questions that I was going to ask you. Awesome. So I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit maybe then and ask you, just for our viewers that don't know you, I just got to meet you. Are you a sports person, an outdoors person, an animal person? Tell me a little bit about
Yes, to all of the above. I love being outside, not so much in the middle of the summer in the South, but I do love being outside. I play golf whenever I can. I used to play a lot of soccer, but since COVID, that kind of slowed down. Now I'm a little reluctant to get back out there and potentially hurt myself, but I still love spending time outside. I love pretty much all sports. Being from Alabama and going to the University of Alabama, obviously interest in some college football there. I mentioned soccer. I follow European soccer leagues very closely. I said I play golf. I don't necessarily watch too much golf, but very much interest in athletics and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Sounds like you fit in real well with us right here.
Yes,
so
sir.
Welcome again to Dublin,
thank
Georgia.
you.
We're glad to have you here.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to welcome Dr. Ayulo to the show tonight. And Dr. Ayulo, I'm assuming you're fairly new still to Dublin and Lawrence County. So tell us just a little bit. I love that tie, by the way. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I am a hematologist and oncologist. I am board certified in internal medicine and medical oncology. I've been practicing for more than 20 years. I do general oncology and all kind of chemotherapy. Well, I used to be more aggressive, and even I had treated leukemia, but I had, as the medicine has progressed, that became too difficult.
Okay. And so you imagine you've practiced for a while and probably worked in some different places. What made you choose Dublin, Georgia?
Well, I always, when I was coming from, I went to a game of the Georgia Bulldog, which I am fan, and then I was living, well, I actually live in Waycross, Georgia.
Okay.
But then when I went to the game, I would always pass through Dublin, and I said, "But Dublin looks to me very appealing." Interestingly, a physician called me a long time ago that he was trying to open the practice, and at that time Dublin was much smaller. And I remember, I said, "This is only have one couple restaurant now." And now it's double, triple, no double. It has grown enormously compared to when I came the first time.
Okay. Well, Dr. Ayulo, I am so happy to have you here and even happier that you're a Georgia Bulldog fan. Thank you. I want to welcome Dr. Garg to the show. Dr. Garg, welcome to Dublin, Lawrence County, and Fairview Park Hospital. We are so glad to have you here. Share just a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. I'm quite grateful to be here at Fairview Park Hospital in Dublin, Georgia. I'm a GYN oncologist by trade. I practiced for about 15 years as a surgeon and an oncologist. And now I've hung my surgical hat, and I'm the Chief Medical Officer at Fairview Park Hospital. I'm looking forward to leading the hospital team, helping lead the hospital team as an administrator, and really being the voice of the physicians.
We are so glad to have you here. Of the places maybe that you could have gone to, and I'm sure there were plentiful, why Dublin, Georgia?
Why not, right? Well, actually, I will tell you the I never imagined myself to be in Middle Georgia. I'm a city girl. I've always been in big cities. And when I interviewed here, the team literally won me over. The team at Fairview Park Hospital is amazing. We all work together, we show up for each other, and that's exactly the reason that I'm here. I want to be part of this amazing team, as well as see where we can, what greatness we can bring to this, this society.
Fantastic. No, we are glad to have you here, and you are exactly right. The folks there are a team, and it's probably, you could say, family. It's probably going to be your extended family if you don't already feel that way. So just one more quick question, because I don't know you that well yet either. I'm sure a lot of our citizens here in the community. Animal lover, sports fan, outdoors, a little bit something like that maybe.
Outdoors for sure. I have a couple of bucket list items that I'm working on. I just started training for a marathon. Oh, wow. And I've always wanted to love golf. I've always wanted to learn golf, so I'm looking forward to being a part of that.
So you got a great place right here at the Dublin Country Club. We look forward to seeing you out here soon, and welcome again to Dublin.
Hi, I'm Tom Dominy. Here at Dublin with Nelson, we pride ourselves on providing the industry's highest quality products at the most competitive pricing. We are a full-service wholesaler specializing in plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products. With a staff that collectively offers more than 50 years of expertise, our team knows your industry, and we can answer your questions and help you get the parts and equipment you need. From mowing to Renee, we carry the plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products you need from the brands you trust. We also carry a great lineup of Milwaukee tools. At Dublin with Nelson, our goal is the long-term success of your business. We achieve that goal with a simple commitment, doing things right, one customer at a time. If you have a question, or if you're looking for a hard-to-find part, give us a call. Our experts are ready to help. Order online, give us a call, or come by at 507 Airport Road in Dublin. We're committed to building long-term relationships with our customers by earning your business every day.
It's football season, and just like your favorite team, Dublin Chevy GMC Nissan's success is built on our teamwork.
Here, Mr. Jones, here's your tune-up parts. Thank you.
Chevy or GMC, we've got your trucks.
I might not have been a great ball player back in the day, but one thing about it, Don sells cars pretty good here at Dublin Chevy GMC Nissan.
All right, I want to welcome Dr. Christopher Jenkins. And Dr. Jenkins, we just met a minute ago. You used to be one of those folks that seemed like I've known you forever, even though we just walked down the hall and chatted for a minute. But our folks in Dublin here may not know you as well yet. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Chris Jenkins, as you stated. So I'm originally from Carrollton, Georgia, which is about 40 minutes west of Atlanta. I grew up there, and I did my undergrad at Georgia State University. And then I have a lot of schooling after that, so I did my master's at Mississippi College in Clinton, Mississippi. Then I went to medical school at Ross University, and I did my residency at Florida State in Sarasota, Florida, and then my general cardiology in Ochsner in New Orleans. And wow. I did my interventional cardiology in Montefiore up in the Bronx, New York. So wow. I've been around, and now I wanted to come back home and help my community here in Georgia and be close to my family. So I'm glad to be back home.
So it's okay if you say "Go Dogs" while we're talking to.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, the champion.
That's right. So tell me a little bit about your practice.
So in our practice, I manage patients with cardiovascular disease, and so that entails the heart and also if blood goes there, so do I. And so pretty much the heart, the carotids, the arteries, and the legs as well. It's really what I focus on, and so I see a lot of patients who have disease in the heart arteries as well as the arteries of the leg or blockages in those arteries. And pretty much in these patients, if you have blockages in one place, you have blockages in other places. And so I try to take care of the patients in a holistic standpoint. Anything from simple to complex. I see a lot of patients in our clinic from all walks of life. And I've been exposed in my career. I've been exposed to all kinds of patients from different backgrounds, different cultures, and so I think I have a broad understanding of how to connect with these patients in the community. But I really wanted to come back home, not only to be close to my family, but also to help the patients in my community, and that is Georgia.
That's
know?
right. That's awesome. Awesome. All right. So I know a little bit of football just from our conversation coming, but maybe not mostly. So for you, outside of work, what's most important to you outside of work?
Outside of work is my family, my fiance, and also my health. So I spend time working out. You know, I go to the gym, I go running, and I do like to. In my previous life, I did martial arts. I did Taekwondo, the fourth degree black belt in Taekwondo, but I don't do it as much anymore. I just stretch, you know, and I do my own thing at home.
Awesome.
But mostly I just try to, you know, focus on my health, eating healthy, and exercise as much as I can.
All right, so Dublin, Georgia, my best new friend here, Taekwondo, Dr. Jenkins. No, Dr. Jenkins, thank you so much, and welcome to Dublin, Georgia. We are so glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm so glad to welcome Dr. Vega to our show. Dr. Vega, welcome to Dublin and Lawrence County, and again, just thank you for choosing Dublin and Lawrence County. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, thank you for having me. My name is Myrna Vega. It's a pleasure to meet you and everyone here. Well, I'm a mom, first and foremost. I'm married to Frank Vega. We have 3 children, Briseis, Aramis, and Luna. They're all in separate schools here in Dublin.
Oh, wow.
We come from Florida, down Fort Lauderdale area, Pembroke Pines. I'd worked there for about 14 years after residency, and we purchased some property in Alamo. We found this beautiful piece of property, and we decided that it would be a great place to raise our kids. We wanted a very simple life where we could go outside and enjoy nature and kind of get away from a lot of the technology where the kids were exposed to. So really that was the motivation for moving. We purchased the land first, and then I found the opportunity with Dr. Williamson's group. So
that's awesome. And so one of the things I was going to ask you is why Dublin, and you've already done a great job of explaining what's important to you about Dublin. Let me ask you this question. What do you enjoy most about your practice and your career?
Well, there's a lot that I enjoy at the medical center. It's very different from what I'm used to. I have experience in Medicare, so right out of residency, I did a year of working with Humana Medical System in Florida and worked directly with seniors, and I loved it. But I knew that I didn't want to forget my family medicine roots, and so shortly after that experience, I decided to work with a company that was a startup, and I spent 7 years with them, and we were able to open up multiple centers. I was a medical director, and we grew our center to a degree that was amazing. And then once that experience, I had that experience, I thought, I want to go on back to Medicare and back to my seniors. And I was able to work with a different company. And I absolutely loved that company. And then we bought the property. And I had to leave that opportunity. But when I came here to Dublin at the medical center, I found that the structure of the center and the way we practice was so unique. We have nurses that are with us, and they help us scribe. That makes my day so much easier. The patients, I'm able to see more patients during the day. I'm able to touch base with all of the family, from the littles to the seniors, and so I'm back to my family medicine roots.
Fantastic.
And I just love to help people. So,
that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
One last question for you. I can tell from talking to you in just a few minutes, your family is very important to you. What other interest or hobby or what else might you say to somebody that doesn't know you, something that's really important to you or you really enjoy?
Oh boy, do you have enough time?
Just one at the top, something you maybe you find yourself doing more than anything else when you're not at work. What might we find you doing?
My faith.
Awesome.
I love reading the Bible, and I love listening to gospel music, and if I could literally worship all day long, I would do that.
Amen,
and I do.
amen.
So that's what I do.
So you're in a good place here. And
Yeah.
you know, Dublin is a strong place of faith. Our guy behind the camera over there is a strong person of faith. I'm a strong person of faith. I'm a pastor in addition to the chamber where I work.
Oh, wow.
And so the more people we have here that share that faith, I think the better for our community. So thank you so much for being here. I won't take any more of your time tonight. I know you got a lot of folks in there, and they're waiting for you to introduce yourself to them. And welcome. We are so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to welcome Dr. Haythcock to our show tonight. Welcome to Dublin and Lawrence County. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
My name is Dan Haythcock, and I'm a cardiologist as well as a cardiac electrophysiologist, which means I'm a heart doctor, and I have a specialty in heart rhythm disorders.
I'm so glad I got that right. I was talking to some of the folks at the hospital earlier, and I said I said he's got to study the rhythms of the heart or something there. So good deal there. Tell me about what you do and what you enjoy about what you do. What made you want to get into that field of study?
So I have always been a tinkerer, and I've always loved to get a greater understanding of how things work. If you think of the heart as a house, you've got plumbers, you've got electricians. And for me, understanding those electrical connections, as complex as they are, but making people's lives better is a lot of fun.
Dr. Haythcock, why'd you choose Dublin, Georgia?
So Dublin kind of chose me. I practiced in Middle Georgia for many years, left to go up to Athens, and then got called back to join a dear friend of mine, Dr. Gary Daniel, and I couldn't be happier. Imagine doing something you love with people you love.
Amen to that. Hey, welcome. I know you got to go in and speak at a reception, but we are so glad to have you here in our community.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I want to welcome Dr. Casey Morris to our show. And Dr. Morris, for the folks that may not know you already, just tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I grew up right here in Dublin and went to West Lawrence High School, met my wife there, trained at Mercer University in Savannah, stayed there for residency, did fellowship out in Dallas, Texas at Baylor, and went back to Savannah thinking that was sort of my home away from home, but Dublin pulled me back in. So we've been here for the last 8 months now. And loving it.
So let me turn a question around. I've asked a lot of the other physicians. They're new here. They're not from here. And so I've been asking them, why Dublin and why did you choose Dublin? But you're from here. Why did you choose to stay here?
Well, I think, I've always loved this community. I owe this community everything that I have in my life. My family, my multiple generations of my family have lived here and thrived in this community. So I really count it as a privilege of being back here and being able to practice medicine and help people that I love. So
I can't tell you what a blessing it is for us to have you and your family here. All right, so one last question real quick. I know you guys got to do some talking and stuff in the other room in there, but just in case, again, somebody doesn't know you, and I want folks to be comfortable and know that they can call you guys, and you're all here to help and part of this community and family. But if you're not at work, what might I find you doing?
Probably running around after one of my kids. I have a 4 and a soon-to-be 3-year-old on Friday, so if I'm not at work, I'm probably with them.
Would you say the most important thing to you, probably outside of work or even including work, your family's going to come first?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Again, won't hold you up any longer. Always a pleasure to talk with you. Look forward to seeing you out there on the golf course sometime. And thank you again for your service.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.